Hey everyone, ready to really get into something? We're talking time change. Should we keep doing it or just pick a time and be done with it?
You know, it's been a hot topic for ages, right? Like way longer than you'd think.
And it's popping up again, but
Yeah.
like from Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, big names like that.
Yeah, and that's a thing. It always comes up, but this time it's them. And now they're both, working with President-elect Trump.
Like in that new government efficiency thing.
Exactly. So it's got
Yeah.
people wondering if maybe this time something will actually change.
Okay, but real quick, before we go too far, um, I always heard it was for farmers, daylight saving time, I mean.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's more to the story.
Oh, yeah, you're right on the money there. That's definitely not the whole picture. It actually goes all the way back to World War I.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, think about it. Wartime, you want to be as efficient as possible. So more daylight hours for factories, that kind of thing.
So it's more like keeping the machines running than getting those early harvests.
Exactly. And they did it again in World War II, too. Same idea.
Okay, so not just a farming thing at all.
Nope. But hold on, it gets even wilder. Fast forward to the 70s, energy crisis hits, and guess what? They try making daylight saving time permanent.
To save energy.
You got it.
So we've been messing with our clocks for like 100 years. But if it was just supposed to be temporary, why are we still doing it?
Well, that's what everyone's trying to figure out, right? Public opinion is all over the place. Some love the extra daylight, some hate changing their clocks. And that's what brings us to where we are now. Three main groups, all with different ideas.
3 groups. Okay, so like what are they?
Well, first, you've got the ones who say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They like the current system.
Okay, makes sense.
Then there's the group that wants permanent standard time.
So just stay in like the wintertime all year?
Yep.
Okay, and the third group?
They want permanent daylight saving time. So all sunshine all the time.
It's kind of like choosing your own adventure, but with time.
Exactly. And it's a big decision, affects so many things. And that's where it gets even more interesting.
How so?
Even those big names we talked about, even they seem unsure about what the best solution is.
Wait, so they're talking about getting rid of it and also keeping daylight saving time permanently.
It's a bit of a head scratcher, right? Even the people leading the charge are struggling with it.
So I'm guessing each group has some pretty strong arguments.
Oh, definitely. It gets into health economics, safety, even crime.
Whoa. Okay, we've got a lot to unpack there.
We do, but that's why we're here,
Right.
to get into all of it.
Absolutely. So first up, the people who want to keep things the same, besides not wanting change, what else do they say?
Well, they say it's the best compromise. Everyone gets a little of what they want throughout the year. More light in the summer evenings, more natural sunrise in the winter.
So basically, a little something for everyone.
Yeah, you could say that.
But doesn't that also mean no one's completely happy?
That's true, too. It's a tough balance to strike.
Okay, fair enough. So what about those permanent standard time folks? All about those cozy dark mornings, huh?
Pretty much. They say staying on standard time is better for our body's natural rhythms. All that clock switching messes with our sleep.
Makes sense. We've all been there. That groggy feeling after the time change. And the coffee. So much coffee.
Exactly. And it's not just anecdotal, there's actual research. One sleep expert even said, changing the clocks is like giving ourselves jet lag twice a year.
Whoa, okay. That makes it way more serious than just feeling tired.
Right. It can affect mood, productivity, even health in the long run.
So like a public health issue, not just personal preference.
Exactly. And they bring up another good point, too. What about kids waiting for the bus in the dark?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a scary thought. Especially in winter.
Yeah, it's a big concern. So they say sticking to standard time would keep everyone safer.
Okay, so that's the keep it the same group and the standard time group. What about the sunshine all the time people? Why do they like daylight saving time so much?
They say it's good for the economy and for fun.
Okay, now we're talking.
Right. More daylight means people are out later shopping, eating, going to events.
Yeah, no, I'm way more likely to do stuff outside if it's still light out.
Exactly. And safer, too, right?
Sure.
Some even say it could lower crime because, well, criminals don't like working in broad daylight.
Interesting. So standard time might be better for health, but daylight saving time could be better for the economy and safety. It's getting complicated.
Yeah, it is. No easy answers here. And remember those big names who seem to support both sides?
Yeah, that's what I'm not getting. How can they want to get rid of the time change A and D, keep daylight saving time?
It comes down to what they care about most. Some are all about efficiency. They just want to pick a time and stick with it. Others focus more on the economic side, so they lean towards daylight saving time.
So it's more about the why than the what.
Exactly.
Okay, so we got the why. But what about the people? What's everyone else think about all this?
Ah, good question. Let's see what the polls are saying.
Let's do it. This is getting good.
It is. Buckle up.
All right, so we've got all these different groups, different opinions, and a whole lot of history with changing our clocks. But what do people actually want?
Well, you know those polls they do? They're pretty clear on one thing. People are tired of changing their clocks. Like, most voters just want it to stop.
Yeah, I get that. It messes me up every time.
Yeah.
But even if we all agree to stop, is there like a clear winner? Like, do people want standard time or daylight saving time?
That's where it gets tricky. There's no, like, super strong majority for either one. Some polls show a little more support for standard time, for the health reasons we talked about, but it's not like everyone's on board.
So we're a nation divided by time itself. Dramatic much.
Maybe a little, but it shows how tough it is to find something everyone's happy with. And you have to think about different parts of the country, too. Someone up north might feel differently about daylight saving time than someone in Florida.
That makes sense. Sunshine's not the same everywhere. Oh, and don't some states already do their own thing with daylight saving time? Like Arizona, I think.
You're right. States don't actually have to follow daylight saving time if they don't want to. So Hawaii and most of Arizona, they opted out. And some U.S. territories, too.
Ah, so it's kind of like choose your own time zone already. Maybe that's what we'll end up with if the whole country can't decide.
Could be. And it's happened before with other things, like all those changes with renewable energy or social issues. Sometimes states make the first move and then the whole country follows.
Okay, so maybe a patchwork of time zones across the U.S. A little chaotic, but hey, it could happen. But let's get back to those big names pushing for change. Musk and Ramaswamy.
Yeah, they're definitely adding fuel to the fire. But we were talking about how even they seem to go back and forth on what they actually want.
Exactly. They want change, but not sure what that change should be. And remember, they're not just tweeting about it. They're working with the new administration.
Right. In that Department of Government Efficiency, is that good or bad for people who want a permanent time? Tough to say. I mean, they're all about efficiency, so maybe getting rid of the time change fits into that. But they also care about the economy, so maybe they'll lean towards daylight saving time.
So we just have to wait and see, I guess.
I think so. They have a lot of influence, but there's also pressure from all sides, other politicians, businesses, regular people. It's a lot to balance.
Oh, and didn't the Senate already try to make daylight saving time permanent?
Yeah, that was back in 2022. The Sunshine Protection Act passed the Senate but never made it through the House.
So are we just going to hit the same roadblock again?
Maybe, maybe not. A few things are different this time. The political scene has changed, for one thing. There's this new group in the Senate, the DOGE caucus, and they're all about government efficiency.
Wait, DOGE, like the meme.
Yep, that's the one. But they're serious about cutting out unnecessary stuff, and they see the time change as a prime example, so they'll probably push hard to get rid of it.
So they're like the just get it done senators.
Pretty much. And they've got some heavy hitters on their side, like Senator Rick Scott. He was a big supporter of that Sunshine Protection Act back in the day.
So we've got this new caucus, some big names in the government, and most people just want the time change to stop. Sounds like things might actually happen this time.
It's definitely starting to feel like it. But you know how politics goes. You never know what twists and turns are coming.
Okay, so let's say everything works out and we actually pick a time. What would that be like? Would people just adjust, or would it be weird?
That's the big question, isn't it? It's so hard to imagine after all these years of switching back and forth.
It's like trying to picture life without the internet or something. So let's break it down. First scenario. We go with permanent standard time. What happens?
Think about those winter mornings. That early sunrise would be the norm. And remember we talked about our body clocks? This would be way better for that. Probably sleep better, be healthier overall.
So basically, we'd be waking up with the sun more often, like our bodies are supposed to.
Exactly, less of that groggy feeling. But yeah, like you said, it also means shorter days in the summer.
And that's a bummer, for sure. But the standard time folks say those health benefits are worth it, right?
Right. It's all about what we prioritize.
Okay, so that's one way it could go. What about if we go the other way? Permanent daylight saving time. What would that world look like?
Summer evenings forever. Think BBQs, late sunsets, kids playing outside till who knows when.
Sounds pretty awesome, honestly.
Yeah.
But what about those mornings in the winter?
Yeah, that's the downside. Sunrises would be way later, especially in the winter. We're talking commuting in the dark for a lot of people.
Ugh, yeah, not a fan of that. And wouldn't that be dangerous too, for drivers and kids going to school and stuff?
Definitely a concern. And that's why a lot of people are against permanent daylight saving time. They say those dark mornings are just too risky.
So it's like picking your poison a little bit. More daylight in the summer or easier mornings in the winter.
That's a good way to put it.
You know, it's funny. Thinking about all this has made me realize how much our lives revolve around time.
It's true. We don't always think about it, but it affects everything we do.
And with all this technology, it's like we're always trying to control time,
Hmm.
but it never feels like enough.
Yeah, it's like that saying, the more you try to control something, the less control you actually have.
Totally. Maybe time's just messing with us,
Yeah,
reminding us who's really in charge.
maybe. But that's kind of the point, isn't it? Whether we change our clocks or not, time keeps moving forward.
That's a good way to think about it. It's not just about what time we set our clocks to, but how we use the time we have.
Exactly. Maybe this whole debate will make people think about that more. Like, how can we slow down a little, appreciate what we have?
Right. This has been a really interesting conversation. We went from the history of daylight saving time to all the arguments and even got a little philosophical there at the end.
It's been a journey. Hopefully, it gave everyone something to think about.
Definitely. So whether you're team standard time or team daylight saving time or somewhere in between, thanks for listening.
Thanks for joining us. Keep those questions coming.
And remember, even though time flies, knowledge lasts forever. See you next time.